At a certain Egyptian official's spacious estate, the woman of the house is having a discussion about sexual harassment with a rather uppity servant girl. When I screamed, that filthy slave, no offense, ran out of the house and left this behind. You screamed? I was right there. I didn't hear any. He attacked me. Is this why we let foreigners in here to make sport of us? Oh, this belongs to Joseph, that Hebrew hunk. He's to die for. His own brothers sold him into slavery. Talk about a dysfunctional family. I don't know. You look pretty functional to me. Wait till Potiphar hears about this. The way he was grabbing me. Oh, he was grabbing you. So when he said, how can I do this great wickedness and sin against God? He was really saying, it was a provocative question, stupid girl. And then he comes out with, my masters withhold nothing from me except you. I can read between the lines. Anyway, I have proof. What Mrs. Potiphar was holding in her hands was evidence of a young man's loyalty to principle. Do you know why Joseph could choose God as his one and only, even in exile, lost from his family, falsely accused, stuck in a dungeon? Because Joseph understood what it means to be chosen. He was wearing on his shoulders the garment of a patriarch. For him, it was a coat of many colors. Because one day, his father Jacob looked over 12 robust sons tying up sheaves of wheat. And he beckoned to the mama's boy, the little dreamer. And he put on him a richly ornamented robe, a coat of many colors. Joseph understood what it means to be chosen. It's a father saying, you're like my one and only son. And that's how mortal men turn into patriarchs. It all started back in Chaldea, when God singled Abram out of all the people on the earth. And he said, I'll make of you the father of many nations, old man. And he put on him the garment. God kept going. Isaac, Jacob, I choose you in spite of yourselves. Put on the garment. The patriarchs built altars of stone, fumbled with the birthright, told half-truths about their wives. Most had a hard time grasping what it meant to be chosen by the one and only. They were singed at Sodom. They had to flee to Egypt. And that's where this garment almost disappears completely, in the mud pits by the Nile. In fact, for the Hebrew slaves of Pharaoh, it almost became a chain around their necks. Hey, Nabob, could you make the bricks any slower? We have a quota. We must resist. Remember, we're the chosen. Oh, the chosen people. Would it be too much for him to choose somebody else for a little while? May the fathers forgive me. Blasphemy. Moses is going to lead us to freedom in the promised land. Oh, freedom, schmeedom, and so much he knows. What, did he pick up divine wisdom, spending the last 40 years talking with sheep? He just got lucky. Plucked out of the Nile like a dead fish. He lands in a palace. This I should see. Though it's not for me to question how he bestows his blessings. Fool. Signs have appeared. There was a burning bush. Burning bulrushes. Moses is a wanted man. What is he going to do? Walk right up to Pharaoh and say, let my people go? Though the children of Israel had almost given up hope, God was still choosing. And this Moses from Midian would lead his people out of slavery and through the wilderness. And there, this garment of the chosen became something like a shepherd's robe. In fact, Moses' biggest task was to teach this unruly flock of sheep what it means to be God's special possession, a nation of priests. El Shaddai was still calling out. He was promising, love me with all your heart and soul and might, as I love you, and stand watch in the sky, a sentry cloud by day and a pillar of fire by night, guarding my portion forever, the apple of my eye. You are blessed more than any other nation, not because your paths are always straight. You'll walk in a land flowing with milk and honey, not because your men are strong or your numbers great. Here's the good news. It's just because of covenant love, just because I choose. God wanted to lay on the shoulders of all His people this garment of the chosen. But they had such a hard time hanging on to it. They did manage to stumble into the promised land. Joshua did get them on a roll at first. They marched right through the Jordan River, right through the walls of Jericho. But in the time of the judges, they seemed to lurch from one disaster to another. It seemed the only time they remembered they were the chosen was when they felt Philistine spears poking them in the back. And then they started eyeing another garment, the richly ornamented robe of a monarch. That old many-colored cloak didn't look so jazzy anymore. Why can't we have a real king like everybody else? Let's get some class. What are we, a bunch of nomads? And so God gave them Saul to sit on the throne. An interesting character. The affairs of state weigh heavily on my broad shoulders, you understand. Being the king of Israel, I must keep all under my command. Oh, I know there are strange rumors flying about of late that the prophet Samuel is looking for some other candidate, that he's chosen a shepherd boy with a psalmist's heart. But I'm tall, dark, and handsome. At least I look the part. Yes, I know I disobeyed the prophet and his very exacting words. Only he could offer burnt offerings. Of course he got on my nerves. But the women singing, Saul has killed his thousands, David his 10,000s, doesn't bother me in the least. There's room in my palace for that Goliath slayer, the little beast. Jonathan befriending David, I can accept them both. My own flesh and blood, getting his covenant oath. They say that in my jealousy, I grow excessively despotic. But a king must have loyalty. It's surely not that I'm neurotic. That infernal harp playing is giving me the royal blues. Maybe the witch of Endor will bring me some good news. Saul didn't work out.